I didn't go out to the unit until I was 31 years old, which is old in the military ages. You know what I mean? I had 11 years in. I was a senior E7. You know what I mean? Getting ready to not long be a team sergeant. You know, at group. So I just didn't want to. The only reason why I went to selection was I didn't want to regret of not trying.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd make it. I was just like, I'm like, you know what I mean? I was just like, hey, I don't want to regret, like, at least not get. I was totally good with, like, I'm not going to make it. Not that I mean I didn't go for it, but in my mind, I was like, nah, man, I don't. Yeah. I
mean, that's fair because you don't know no one knows what they're looking for.
I didn't, especially like guys in the Ranger Regiment knew more about the unit. Again, this is all pre 9/11. Like, I went to selection in September of 2001. Is whenever I went to selection. So I was already slotted to go, you know what I mean? But, you know, September 11th happened, and by the end of the month, I was at selection.
So for those that don't know what Tom's talking about, and is selection is going to try out for the unit, which is also known as Delta Force. And I know we're not going to be able to interrogate Tom to give us all the secrets here, but it's very, the assessments or selection for the unit is very close held. And what happens there, what they're looking for at the unit. I have, you know, tons of friends as well. A lot of my mentors in training for the job I did at JSOC was from, you know, old school guys from the unit we were talking about earlier. And then I have some friends. Now one of the guys that worked at Mighty Oaks had just recently retired from the unit. Right. But yeah, I mean, so what can you tell us about, I guess first of all, like the process that you could tell us about somebody in the Army having and by the way, not just Army, right? All other branches get a try too.
Other branches can go too.
Trying out, like, what's the process to get the chance to try out for, you know, one of the two premier special mission units in the world?
I tell you, it was the coolest experience I've ever had in the military. Yeah. Like, I would totally recommend that everyone should just go and do it. Whether you think you can make it or not, because without a doubt, it's because I was cadre, you know, at selection also, you know, years later. So, you know, the inner workings of it and stuff, but there's no other course where there's no cadre factor in there. Like, there's none. It's you against the clock, and whatever the standard is what you're going against. Like,
you don't know
if I was cadre,
though, right?
If I was cadre and I see guys like this guy's always at the back of the pile, he's like, you know, he's not really pushing hard and stuff. Doesn't compute into whatever the algorithm is, you know. So it's the most professional. I mean, there's been more guys fired from screwing up selection than anything else, you know what I mean, at the unit. I mean, it is because they know that with that job description, that level of responsibility and authority that you will have as an operator, you better get the hiring part right. And so the hiring of an operator is like whenever you go through your boards or whatever's going on, like the unit leadership is interviewing you at the senior levels. You know what I mean? Like, it's that important, you know? So it was during that time, you know what I mean? Again, it was super interesting time. I was, and that was 2001. So I already had one son, you know what I mean? My wife and I got back together, like we said, you know, and so I was living all the resilient stuff that you talked about. I'm killing it, man. You know what I mean? Like I was, you know what I mean, on the Christian side of the house, on leading guys to the God side of the house. And I say that for two different steps because for me, it was two different steps. Like whenever I went into AA and they started the God thing, you know, obviously I'd mentioned I had a huge problem. But a lot of that was, I had a lot of anger and stuff, but really underneath that anger was shame and guilt. Like you don't know what I've done, but I know what I've done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the shame and guilt that I have is like, man, I couldn't even approach the idea of Christ. And I knew all about it. I'd been church long, you know what I mean? I just,
so disqualified yourself.
100%. Right. I couldn't even begin to have the idea that was going to work for me. And, so in AA, they have the 12 steps, you know, like it was originally. Here's the funny thing. What I love about when especially when veterans have this resistance to AA and the 12 steps, if that's what their struggle is, it's like, you know that it was started by a veteran, right? like a World War One veteran.
I did not know that.
Bill Wilson,
Really?
you know, one of the co-founders.
I can't believe I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Bill Wilson and that age group. I mean, we're talking 30s, 30. They were World War One veterans. Like, we're pretty tough.
Yeah.
But we're not World War One tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the trench warfare. And so that's what always is funny to me. They're like, oh, there's a bunch of BS. I was like, hey, you're a veteran. Veteran started this. I don't know, mate. Yeah. Maybe it'll work for you.
Out of combat.
I'm not a smart guy, but
guys coming out of World War II, they didn't have Polypro or Gore-Tex or anything.
So that approach, man, it was just like God a long time ago had decided, like, hey, where he wanted me to work, right? Yeah. For sure. And this backed up biblically, I found out later on, but you know, but the approach to the 12 steps, man, was my entryway and my approach to God, because I just couldn't bridge that gap, you know, between me and all the stuff that was inside of me, and getting a relationship with a God that I understood, because the one that I understood, I didn't want anything to do with. So I needed a new understanding, you know, and that's where I met these people, particularly my sponsor in AA. You have a sponsor, a guy that guides you through the steps, you know, and he had only been sober about a year, and so it wasn't like this guru or anything, but in AA they have a book, right? Every society has a book, right? Yeah. You know, Christianity has the Bible. You know, Muslims have the Quran. You know what I mean? In AA, you have you know, the Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, so it's set up as a textbook, you know, reading, writing, arithmetic, division, multiplication, algebra. If you try to open up in algebra, you're not going to understand what's going on. You got to, you know, it's constructed that way. And so
that's the steps.
That's the steps, right? Yeah. And and it was all about cleaning out the garbage that was inside of me, the resentment, the fears, you know what I mean? The shame, the guilt, the results. You know what I mean? How do I, like, if I'm 90% filled up with garbage or unnecessary stuff, if I try to add God to that, I'm only going to get 10%. At best, you know? So it's just, so the process of the steps is you clean out all the garbage, you know? And then whenever I get rid of that which is blocking me from the sunlight of the Spirit just fills the space, you know? There's no voids. And so for the first time in my life, I had a God in my life, you know, which was amazing.
Hey, what's up, Brazilian family? I am so grateful for each of you who tune in every week to hear our episodes. We have such incredible guests and topics that I am passionate about, our team's passionate about, and we could not do it without you. So we're thankful for you. We love you. We appreciate you locking arms with us to be more informed, to become a more resilient community. And I want to invite you to become a tighter part of that community by joining us on Patreon. If you go to our show notes below, you can click the link and get dialed into our Patreon and get extra content weekly. You could join for $15 a month and get behind the scenes footage, get closer access to me. I have monthly Zooms that I'll be doing with some members of the community. And so we'd love to get more involved. Again, go below in the show notes and click the link and join today.